Wow, happy Canada Day, everybody. Oh, why is it so hard to say Canada Day? I just wanted to come on quickly and wish everybody a happy Canada Day and parlay a few things that are on my mind and connect with people. Hey, we're just getting the day started. It's 11 a.m. So I thought, what the heck, for those of you sequestering and locked up in your place like me, why not have a little entertainment and a little information while you're hanging around with your family? And I wanted to also sing O Canada. I actually rarely get to sing O Canada, and I have always wanted to. I've maybe like a couple times in my life I wanted to, but I want bad timing on that phone call. I wanted to just wish everybody happy Canada Day, and with this song. Oh, sorry. Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all our sons' command. We're going hearts, we see thee rise, the true north strong and free, from far and wide. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Happy Canada Day, everybody. So welcome to the show. I took a brief hiatus because I was regrouping, as I say to my friends, the Black Lives Matter movement and COVID numbers, everything was shifting and changing, and I had to reassess my place, as I was saying last week. Hello, everybody joining. I had to reassess my place and how I fit in and what my voice was in all of this. And so I just wanted to come back. I've got some great guests this week and come back facing those issues. Now, today is Canada Day. I don't know if you saw my post on Facebook, but I wanted to actually just bring to light, because of the Black Lives Matter and the racism that's happening and the Indigenous racism and in Canada as well. I think it's really important for us to visit all of these issues and educate. Again, we're educating the people around us, educating our youngsters, our kids, our family, and also our friends. And a lot of my friends weren't aware of certain things. Canada Day is controversial. When Canada became a country, when everyone joined into forces, there were a lot of it was highly politicized and a lot of things going on in the country. John A. Macdonald basically rallied everyone together. They went to PEI to convince PEI to join, and still some provinces didn't join in Canada's dominion, and not for years later. I think Newfoundland was later to join, and a couple of other provinces. Manitoba was just like a small territory that ended up expanding up into the north. So there was a lot of unrest in Saskatchewan and Manitoba with the Louis Riel Rebellion. A lot of First Nations, Indigenous, and Metis people were killed all across Canada because we were building the railway to unite the country. So, and there were bounties on people's heads, and people were starved and pushed out of their land in order for the railway to go through. And so these were things that a lot of people aren't aware of. And I just wanted to say today, I think, and that's why I have this flag up here. This is a flag done by designed by Kwakwakawakan artist Curtis Wilson. I'm sorry if I got that pronunciation wrong. Kwakwakawakan artist Curtis Wilson, and it's beautiful. I love it, and it really, and I think actually the Canadian flag should be changed to this. It's just a little bit more sensitive to what went on in Canada, so yeah. Thank you guys for joining. So and I also wanted to, and this is also this also applies to the Black Lives Matter movement and the racism going on, systemic racism all through Canada, the US, and the world globally. It's obviously it's everywhere. I wanted to be sure to be that it be clear that I am an ally of this whole movement, whether it's Black Lives Matter or Indigenous systemic racism within the police. I wanted to be a voice, and I wanted to actually bring other voices on, and I wanted people to have a platform to speak in that way. So I think it's really important for us to speak up right now. And that's why I came back after a 2-week hiatus of just like, what is happening? I've got my mask. I got my clan tartan mask that I ordered from, I think it actually was made by a guy in the States, but it's really cool. It's the McDonald tartan, per mar, per terras, which means by sea, by land. And that's my clan symbol. And then I also had this great mask I found at my pharmacist, and it has built-in or reusable filters. So got that. I'm wearing my Canadian tuxedo today, lumberjack. I am ready for Canada Day, and I also wanted to discuss some great things online with you guys. So if you want to join the conversation, I've got some people already chiming in. Christina, hello from, hey, Dublin. Hello. Hi, Christina. Thanks for joining us on Canada Day. Canada Day. We also had quite an interesting history with the Fenian raids. The Irish came up and raided Canada. So we've had, Canada has quite the deep history. I don't know if you know about the raids, Christina, but we could talk more about that. Holly, hello. Oh, everyone's chatting now within each other, within the chat. Valentino's here. Hi, Valentino, my buddy. So yes, I'm also, Valentino is a designer out of Vancouver. I just want to do a shout out to him quickly before we get into more about the show. Valentino is, his company is Made Co Apparel, and he sent me a beautiful cotton baseball type shirt, designer, really nice. Thank you, Valentino. He's a good buddy. He's in Vancouver. He's just starting up. He's got clients all over the world now, and I'm really proud of him. Let me just put up here. This is Valentino's, one of his pieces, but he also makes hoodies and workout clothes, and he's got some exciting new items coming out too. So you can find Valentino on Instagram. He does pretty much a nightly show. So thanks, Valentino, for being a fan and for supporting, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So if you want to subscribe to my show, head over to YouTube if you're not already watching it on YouTube. If you want to know when the show goes live, I'm going to try again to do Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. It's difficult, but I'm going to do it. And got some great guests coming up this week. My friend Sanditra in Guadalajara is going to come on. And Yes, and my friend Dr. Tim Guimond. So that's on Saturday. On Thursday, this Thursday, I'm going to have my friend Ariana, who's in Los Angeles, who's out there protesting on the streets. I'm really excited to talk to her, and as well as possibly a couple of other guests. My friend Ali Garrison, who is also here in Toronto and has some really interesting stories about the Underground Railroad. So that's Thursday and Saturday. So, okay, back to today. I really appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. Yes. First of all, so I wanted to read this really great piece that I found on the internet, on the intrawebs, that I thought kind of summed it up for me. So as a white person, I'm lucky to live in Canada. I can make a good life for myself here, a life where I can get an education and choose what kind of career path I want to follow. I have the right to vote. I live in freedom, and I'm allowed to publicly criticize the government without fear of suppression or jail. My grandparents, who lived in various parts of Scotland and Europe, didn't have the luxury of living that way. Lots of immigrant communities celebrate Canada Day because of the freedom the country offers them. Not all, of course. Some refugees are turned away and treated with cruelty when they arrive, but for many people fleeing persecution and tyranny, finding a home in a country that allows them freedom is something to be celebrated. But that doesn't erase the ugly truth about Canada's history. And as that relief becomes less immediate, for those of us who are the children or grandchildren or great-grandchildren of those immigrants, it gets harder and harder to justify our place here. It really does, right? Because we have to reconcile the fact that we're able to live a good life here. Oh my God, I'm going to cry. This is like, this really is true. It does get harder and harder. A better life than we might be able to live in our parents' or grandparents' homeland. With the fact that that promise came out of an existing culture's suffering. And I think that's what I want to bring away from today is a dedication to those people who laid down their lives before us, the Asian people who had, come here and helped build the railway and lost their lives in the mountains of the Rocky Mountains, steepest treacherous territory, blasting through. Many people were killed in blasts. So yes, and the of course First Nation, Indigenous, Inuit, and Metis, and all across the board from when they were first met peacefully. They peacefully met people, came to this land, and were persecuted. And we need to remember that today. We need to celebrate and respect the people that laid down their lives for us to live here and have the privilege of living here. So there's a couple of really important books that I brought up last week that really enlightened me. I was researching a TV show that I was writing with my friend Dawn, and I knew something about Canadian history, but I didn't realize the extent of it. I didn't realize the timing of it all. I didn't realize there were so many Americans up here. I mean, I knew, the colonies. I just didn't know. We weren't taught that. We weren't taught all of those things in school. We weren't taught about colonialism really in school. We were just taught who the explorers were, the basics. So this book I really love, and I'm sure you can get it in any library. And also, I'm going to bring up this other thing I have here, the Internet Archive. So archive.org, it's running across the bottom there, is a free library. Right now it's free. You can take out as many books as you want. You can read as many books online, digitally, as you like. I'm sure you can find stuff or other history on Canada there. This History of Canada is really good by Craig Brown. So yeah, check that out. extensive history. Also, as you know, in 1867, our prime minister was Sir John A. Macdonald, Nation Maker. Also, really good book, gives you the full history. There's, I think, 2 volumes of this. There's also one before this, but this actually delves into the Native relations and First Nations, Inuit, Métis relations. That's really good. And then, of course, this book was recommended to me by many people. This is Canada, The Foundations of Its Future by Stephen Leacock. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Lots of great information in there as well. If these are things that you should pass by your children and educate our children, as with the Black Lives Movement and protests, need to be educated. They are the future leaders of this country and other countries. Good morning. Good morning, LK. I love when you put hockey nut in parentheses now. It's good. If you guys have any questions too, please chime in. I love answering questions, or if you have any information you want to offer, any links to Canadian history or anything like that, I love to add that to the stream. Hold on, I'm gonna have some of my chai. It's very dry. So yes, so Canada Day also was referred to as Dominion Day, and that was changed. I've written that down here. It was Dominion Day. Where did my notes go? Anyway, I think it was in the 40s it was changed to Canada Day, and then that was even brought up. Also, this "O Canada" song I found interesting. The original lyrics of "O Canada" was thou dost in us" instead of thy sons, all in thy son's command. It was thou dost in us command. So actually it was oh my God, I can't talk this much. It was gender neutral to begin with in 1908, and then they changed it in all thy sons command to the lyric "in all thy sons command" in 1914. And now we've gone back to something completely different, which is "in all of us command." Gee, I hope I sang that right when I sang it. If I didn't, I apologize. I grew up with the previous version, so got to get the old lizard brain working. So yes, so I also there's a few documentaries and films I want to recommend to you that you should watch. Angry Inuk. So Inuk, INUK, director Althea Nakuk Baril, which is you can rent it from the National Film Board. The NFB has some wonderful films you can watch. So go onto the NFB, I think .ca or .com, and you can rent Angry Inuk from that. Canada's State of Emergency. It's a TED Talk with Canada's unjust treatment of Indigenous people. That is the main subject matter. So that you can watch on YouTube. Canada's State of Emergency. If you want to write these down, this is a good time to get a pen. So also I watched this one. Colonization Road is excellent. Comedian Ryan McMahon travels Ontario's colonization roads, learning about their impact on First Nations and settlers. You can watch that on CBC Gem. CBC is actually a really good resource. That's where actually I got a lot of information. There was Canada's history on there. If you want to sit your kids down and watch that, that's eye-opening. So Canada's history on CBC Gem, and I think it's free to watch. You just have to go in and find it. So there's also a movie called Grizzlies that focuses on a hand handball team or lacrosse team out in the Northern Territories, and my friend Miranda de Poncier directed it. It's a beautiful film. I think it's actually now available globally, so look for it. Grizzlies, it's called, and it's super inspiring, beautifully shot in the Northern Territories. Really great story, heartwarming and inspirational as well. Rocks at Whiskey Trench is also a comprehensive look at the fallout of the 1990 Oka crisis, when Mohawk people fled their land that was occupied by the Canadian Army. Also available on the NFB, National Film Board. Again, great resource for people to look at. And then reading, there's some great books. 21 Things You May Not Know About the Indian Act. This is quite a popular book. Helping Canadians Make Reconciliation with Indigenous Peoples a Reality by Bob Joseph. So that's a really great book, really eye-opening and informative. Also another book, or actually it's not a book, it's on CBC News. You can Google it, A History of Residential Schools in Canada. You need to watch that. Hey, Chris, thanks. It's my flag, big old flag in front of a flag. Yes, thanks for joining, Chris. And then there's so many. An Inconvenient Indian by Thomas King, if you're writing these down. Really awesome book as well. So yeah, so if you put those with the books that you've got quite a bit of reading to do. So yeah, I was hoping to have my guest Kylie on, but I think she's busy. Let me just check. Yeah. So I just wanted to come on quickly anyway and wish everybody a happy Canada Day. I wanted to give you some resources to educate people around you. And whatever you do today, be kind to everyone else around you. Thanks for tuning in, you guys, on online. And I think that was all I had to say. Make sure you watch on Thursday. I've got my friend Ariana coming on, like I said, and we're going to talk about Black Lives Matter and the protests and the rising number of COVID cases in the States. It's staggering. I can't even believe it. I have to say, I kind of saw it coming, and if we're not careful over this Canada Day and July 4th, there will be an uptick in our numbers too. So please be careful today, you guys. Social distance, be outside if you can, and wear a mask in an enclosed space. I wear it too sometimes because I don't want to get sick, and I don't want to pass, even if I'm asymptomatic, I don't want to pass it on to anyone. So yeah. I think that was all I had to say. Do you guys have anything you would like to bring up? Once again, I'd like to bring up e-mental health. If you're having any issues, you would like to talk to somebody experiencing anxiety or depression or mental health issues, ementalhealth.ca is a wonderful resource for you to go to and talk to somebody. And there's links there for you to utilize. So if nobody has any other things going on out there, I really appreciate you tuning in. Happy Canada Day, everybody. Say that 10 times fast. And have a wonderful day. Eat some good food, drink some good drinks, and have some good laughs. Love you guys.